Nobody expected the Braxton family to implode like this, not fans, not insiders, and definitely not the people who've spent years selling the image of unity, faith, and sisterhood. But in the span of just a few explosive hours, that image cracked wide open when Tamar Braxton allegedly pulled the curtain back on secrets the family never wanted discussed out loud. What started as a tense exchange behind the scenes spiraled into full-blown chaos once cryptic messages, leaked screenshots, and moral accusations hit social media all at once. Tamar didn't give a press conference. She didn't sit down for an interview. She did something far more dangerous. She spoke emotionally, loosely, and publicly, and according to people watching closely, she said just enough to set the internet on fire. References to hidden truths. Accusations of hypocrisy. Biblical language weaponized like a warning instead of comfort. And one chilling line that froze fans in place: "You'll preach morals, but hide sins." Within minutes, Twitter erupted. Fans dug through old episodes, old interviews, old arguments that suddenly felt loaded. Screenshots allegedly pulled from private family group chats began circulating, hinting at explosive disagreements, legal threats, and a long-running effort to keep certain stories buried. No names were confirmed. No details were fully explained. But the implications were loud enough to shake the entire Braxton legacy. Towanda's name trended. Tamar's motives were questioned. Other sisters went silent. Celebrities reacted in code. And insiders started whispering that this wasn't a slip, it was a breaking point. Because when someone stops protecting family secrets, it's never accidental. And if this is only what Tamar felt safe enough to hint at, the real question isn't what just came out. It's what's still being fought to keep hidden. The moment Tamar's words hit the timeline, everything the Braxton family spent decades building began to shake. This wasn't a rehearsed confession, or a carefully worded statement. It was raw, emotional, and messy in a way only truth-adjacent moments ever are. Tamar sounded tired. Not angry-tired. Soul-tired. The kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying secrets that were never yours to protect in the first place. According to people close to the situation, this didn't start publicly. It started behind closed doors, in conversations that escalated fast. Tamar allegedly confronted Towanda about long-standing family issues that had been quietly ignored for years. Not petty disagreements. Not old reality TV drama. But things that, if spoken aloud, would force the family to answer questions they've successfully dodged for a very long time. What pushed it over the edge, insiders claim, was Tamar feeling gaslit yet again. Being told she was doing too much. Being reminded of the brand. The legacy. The image. According to one alleged source, Tamar snapped when she realized the family was more concerned with optics than accountability. That's when the language shifted. That's when scripture started getting used, not as comfort, but as condemnation. Tamar didn't accuse anyone directly. She didn't name names. But she didn't need to. Her references were pointed. Her pauses were intentional. She talked about hypocrisy. About preaching righteousness while hiding truth. About how silence gets dressed up as morality, when it's really about control. Fans felt it immediately. This wasn't vague posting for attention. This was someone speaking from a place of deep betrayal. Then the alleged leak started. Screenshots began circulating, claimed to be from private family group chats. Messages arguing about what could and couldn't be discussed publicly. Warnings about legal consequences. Someone allegedly reminding Tamar that certain things don't leave this family. Another message, attributed to Tamar, read, "I'm not protecting lies anymore." Whether real or not, the timing made them explosive. Towanda's name began trending within the hour. Fans went into full detective mode. Old interviews resurfaced. Old family sit-downs were re-watched with new eyes. Moments where Tamar was talked over. Scenes where she was dismissed as dramatic. People started noticing patterns they hadn't wanted to see before. Who got supported? Who got silenced? Who was allowed to fall apart, and who was told to pull it together for the cameras? Social media became a battlefield. One side accused Tamar of airing dirty laundry. The other accused the family of hiding behind faith and respectability to avoid real conversations. Clips of Tamar crying from years ago went viral again, but this time the commentary was different. Less mocking. More concerned. People started asking if those tears were warning signs everyone ignored. According to an insider, Towanda was blindsided by how quickly things spiraled. Not because the issues were new, but because Tamar finally stopped containing them. What was supposed to be a private confrontation allegedly turned into a public reckoning when Tamar felt she was being threatened into silence yet again. And that's when the cease and desist whispers began. Legal language entered the family chat, and that's when everything changed. Fans were stunned. Laws? Between sisters. That alone told people this wasn't reality TV drama anymore. This was serious. Tamar hinted at being told to take things down, to stop talking, to remember what's at stake. And instead of backing down, she leaned in emotionally, posting messages about truth, God, and refusing to carry what wasn't hers. Celebrities reacted without saying names. One posted, "Faith without honesty is just performance." Another wrote, "Family secrets rot when they're never healed." Those posts went viral, with fans immediately tying them back to Tamar's situation. The silence from the rest of the Braxton sisters only fueled speculation. No unified statement. No calm reassurance. Just distance. Behind the scenes, Tamar was reportedly unraveling. Crying fits. Regret mixed with relief. According to someone close to her, she kept saying, "I didn't want it like this, but I couldn't keep lying." That sentence spread quietly among supporters, because it captured the heartbreak of the moment. She wasn't trying to destroy her family. She was trying to survive it. The most unsettling part was the shift in how fans viewed the family's image. The polished sisterhood suddenly felt fragile. The faith-based language that once felt grounding now felt strategic to some. People began questioning what else had been edited out, softened, or buried over the years to maintain a marketable narrative. Towanda, for her part, remained publicly silent. No posts. No denials. No clarifications. That silence became its own storyline. Fans speculated whether it was legal advice or emotional processing. Either way, it left Tamar standing alone in the storm she helped ignite. Then came the line that pushed everything into overdrive. Tamar allegedly said, during a brief, emotional moment that was quickly deleted, "You don't get to preach morals while punishing truth." That sentence spread faster than anything else. It reframed the entire conflict. This wasn't about one secret. It was about power. About who decides what's sinful and what's simply inconvenient. By the end of the day, the Braxton family brand was in crisis mode. Fans were split. Commentators were circling. Insiders hinted this was only the surface. That what Tamar touched on was just one thread in a much larger tapestry of unresolved pain, control, and silence. And as night fell, one chilling rumor began making its way through the blogs. That Tamar wasn't done talking. That what she almost revealed next was the very thing everyone was scrambling to stop. And if that's true, then what just happened wasn't the explosion. It was the warning. By the second wave, the situation had fully escaped anyone's control. What started as an emotional spill had now turned into a coordinated scramble to contain damage, and according to multiple alleged insiders, the family was no longer just arguing. They were strategizing. Group chats split. Phones went unanswered. People picked sides without ever saying the words out loud. And at the center of it all was Tamar, watching the walls close in after daring to say what everyone else was desperate to keep buried. The first sign that things had escalated behind the scenes came when Tamar's posts began disappearing. Not all at once. One by one. A caption gone. A story removed. A comment wiped clean. Fans immediately noticed and started screenshotting everything. The assumption spread fast. Someone had told her to stop. Not asked. Told. Alleged insiders claimed emergency calls were made to calm her down, reminding her of how much the family has already lost, and what more could be damaged if this keeps going. That language didn't sound like love to fans. It sounded like leverage. Tamar, according to those close to her, felt cornered. Speak up and be labeled destructive. Stay silent and be erased. Then the leaks intensified. More alleged messages hit the blogs, this time focused less on accusations and more on fear. One screenshot, claimed to be from Tamar to a trusted confidant, read, "They keep telling me I'm ruining everything, but nobody asks why I'm hurting." Another said, "I'm tired of being the problem just because I won't lie." Whether authentic or not, the emotional tone was undeniable and devastating. The internet responded in waves. Some fans doubled down, accusing Tamar of using religious language to deflect accountability. Others flipped completely, saying the family's reaction proved her point. Twitter turned brutal. TikToks broke down body language from old family dinners. YouTube thumbnails screamed betrayal. The story mutated faster than anyone could control. What truly changed the temperature, though, was the alleged involvement of legal counsel. Multiple sources whispered that Tamar had been warned about defamation and family privacy, phrases that immediately raised red flags for fans. When legal language enters a family dispute, it signals one thing: someone is afraid of what might come next. Tamar addressed this indirectly in a brief, emotional moment that didn't last long. She didn't name lawyers. She didn't accuse anyone of threatening her. She simply said, "When the truth scares people, they call it dangerous." That sentence alone lit the fuse all over again. Meanwhile, Towanda's silence remained unbroken, and that silence was doing damage. Fans speculated endlessly. Some defended her right to process privately. Others argued that staying quiet, while Tamar unraveled, looked cruel. Every hour without a response made the gap between the sisters feel wider, colder, more final. Other family members were dragged into the storm without saying a word. Old comments resurfaced. Old alliances were questioned. Who liked what? Who didn't? Who unfollowed who? The internet turned into a forensic lab, dissecting every digital breadcrumb like it meant something, because at this point, it did. According to an alleged insider, Tamar felt betrayed not just by the pushback, but by the lack of empathy. "Nobody asked if I was okay," she reportedly said. "They just wanted me quiet." That line, whispered among supporters, hardened the narrative. This wasn't about one disagreement. This was about a pattern. Fans began re-examining the family's long history through a darker lens. The constant pressure to present unity. The way conflicts were always resolved just in time for cameras. The way Tamar was often positioned as the emotional outlier while others remained composed. People started asking if that dynamic had always benefited someone and harmed someone else. Celebrity reactions poured in again, this time sharper. One public figure wrote, "Silencing someone doesn't fix the truth. It just delays it. Another posted, family can be the loudest cage. Those posts weren't random. Fans knew exactly who they were about, and the comments reflected it. Behind closed doors, Tamar was reportedly spiraling between defiance and fear. According to someone close to her, she kept asking whether speaking out was worth losing everything. Not fame. Not money. Family. That internal conflict was eating her alive. She wasn't trying to burn bridges. She was trying to stop drowning. Then came the most unsettling rumor yet. Multiple accounts claimed Tamar had prepared a longer, detailed statement, one that explained exactly what she meant, why she spoke up, and what she had been protecting people from. Allegedly, that statement never saw daylight, because she was convinced it would cause irreversible damage. Damage not just to relationships, but to legacies. When fans heard that, the tone shifted again. If someone chooses silence after preparing the truth, it's usually not because they are lying. It's because the truth is too big to survive intact. Late that night, Tamar posted a single line, "Truth without safety is just another wound." No explanation. No comments allowed. The post stayed up just long enough to be shared everywhere, then vanished. That deletion felt intentional. Because it told fans everything they needed to know. This wasn't over, but it was being forced underground. The conversation had moved from public chaos to private containment, and that's where the most dangerous secrets live. As the night dragged on, one final whisper spread across the blogs and group chats. That Tamar's next move wouldn't be emotional. It would be deliberate. And whatever she chooses to do next, it won't be something the family can spin, edit, or pray away. Because once silence becomes a weapon, the truth doesn't disappear. It waits. By the third stretch of this unraveling, the chaos no longer felt loud, it felt calculated. The kind of quiet that only settles in after everyone realizes the stakes are higher than public opinion. Tamar had gone silent again, but this time it wasn't shock. According to people watching closely, it was strategy. The tone of her absence felt different. Less panic. More resolve. Insiders claimed Tamar had stopped reacting altogether. No more emotional posts. No more late-night confessions. No vague captions begging to be understood. Instead, she pulled back, leaned into a smaller circle, and started listening more than speaking. That shift terrified people far more than her outbursts ever did. Because when someone who's been emotional suddenly goes quiet, it usually means they've decided something. The internet noticed immediately. Fans who had been refreshing her page hourly started speculating that Tamar had been advised to say nothing else publicly. Others believed she was preparing something bigger, something that couldn't be dismissed as a meltdown or misinterpretation. Reaction channels slowed their uploads. Commentators softened their language. Even critics seemed unsure how to proceed. According to an alleged insider, Tamar had reached a breaking clarity. "I can't explain myself into safety," she reportedly said. "And I can't heal where I'm being managed." That line never appeared online, but it spread privately, changing how people interpreted everything that came before it. This wasn't about winning a family argument. It was about autonomy. Meanwhile, the family's silence grew heavier. Still no unified response. Still no reassurance. Still no acknowledgement of Tamar's pain. To fans, that absence felt intentional, not avoidance, but containment. The narrative quietly shifted from family drama to damage control. People began asking whether the goal was resolution, or simply waiting until the noise died down. Then came another wave of alleged leaks, not messages this time, but behavior. Fans noticed Tamar had quietly unfollowed several accounts tied to long-standing to the situation, claimed she had started setting firm boundaries for the first time in years, including refusing to engage in certain conversations altogether. That move alone felt seismic. Celebrity reactions changed again. This time, they weren't cryptic. They were direct, but still unnamed. One artist wrote, "You don't owe silence to people who benefit from your suffering." Another posted, "Truth doesn't need permission." Those posts were shared tens of thousands of times, with fans immediately tying them back to Tamar's situation. The conversation shifted from gossip to empowerment, and that shift is dangerous when control has been the goal. Critics tried to regain ground, accusing Tamar of playing victim without providing facts. Supporters pushed back harder than before, arguing that demanding proof from someone clearly distressed was part of the problem. The debate grew more philosophical, less personal. And that's when it became impossible to shut down. Behind the scenes, Tamar was reportedly making moves that had nothing to do with social media. Reorganizing her team, tightening access, reclaiming control over her narrative in ways that couldn't be intercepted or edited. According to an insider, she wasn't planning a tell-all. She was planning peace, and peace required distance. That decision sent shockwaves through the fandom. Because distance, in families like this, is louder than confrontation. It signals finality. It says something broke that apologies can't fix. Fans began mourning the idea of reconciliation, realizing this wasn't just another cycle of conflict followed by healing for the cameras. This felt permanent. Then Tamar posted again. Not a rant. Not scripture. Just one sentence. "I don't need everyone to understand me. I need to be safe being myself." Comments were turned off. No explanations followed. The post stayed up. That permanence mattered. It suggested Tamar wasn't retreating out of fear anymore. She was choosing herself publicly, without negotiation. And that choice reframed everything. What once looked like chaos now looked like refusal. Refusal to perform pain, refusal to justify boundaries, refusal to be the designated problem, so others could stay comfortable. The silence from the rest of the family grew almost deafening in comparison. No clapbacks. No vague inspiration quotes. No love and light. Just quiet. Fans interpreted it as a standoff. Two sides choosing different weapons, one choosing peace, the other choosing patience. And patience, in situations like this, is often used to outlast rather than resolve. As days passed, the intensity online slowly cooled, but the unease remained. This wasn't closure. It was a pause that felt intentional on Tamar's side and uncertain on everyone else's. People began asking not what she would say next, but whether she ever would, and whether that silence was the most powerful statement of all. One thing became clear by the end of this chapter: the Braxton family narrative had permanently shifted. The polished image could never fully return to what it was. Too many people had seen the cracks. Too many questions had been raised. Too many patterns re-examined. And Tamar. She didn't look like someone waiting to be forgiven. She looked like someone finally free enough to walk away. Because when someone stops fighting to be heard and starts fighting to be whole, the story changes completely. And whatever comes next won't be loud. It will be final. If you've stayed with this story until now, it's because you can feel how different this is from the usual celebrity mess. This isn't just arguments and trending hashtags. This is a family legacy cracking in real time, and a woman choosing herself in a way that can't be undone. Moments like this don't come around often, and when they do, they usually change everything that follows. Now we need to hear from you. Do you believe Tamar was right to stop protecting a narrative that was hurting her? Do you think silence from the rest of the family is strategy, shock, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because these conversations don't end when the video does. They shape how the truth survives. Make sure you like this video so it doesn't quietly disappear, and subscribe with notifications turned on. If Tamar speaks again, if the family finally responds, or if new details surface that shift everything we think we know, you'll want to be here the moment it happens. This story isn't wrapped up. It's suspended. And in situations like this, what comes after the silence is usually the part nobody is ready for.